You can feel sad, scared, angry. It's your brain that's sad.
Depression, it's not just like sadness, it's like a lot of things. It's stress and tiredness.
You could be stressed for like not really a good reason. You're just like overwhelming yourself.
Being worried feels like frightened or scared or nervous.
Like my heart is beating faster and faster and faster.
Like something's wrong.
I feel like there's butterflies in my stomach.
Guys, I understand you may not know what anxiety feels like. Millions of people suffer from it. It's a disorder with something with the adrenaline, and it kicks in, and it kicks your ass, and it makes you feel like you're dying.
Mental illness often starts in childhood, but the question is, why? Is it genetic?
Yeah. So if you look backwards, so if you look at adults who have mental health disorders, about 3/4 will kind of look back and say that it began, before they turned 18. So in the case of anxiety disorders, for example, about 30% we estimate is due to a genetic factor.
Genetics. So
In the research on anxiety, we find that some people are biologically and genetically and neurologically more sensitive to life and the threats in the world around than others. So we believe it's partly genetic. The brain, the amygdala, which is like the smoke detector in the brain for anxiety. Some people have a more sensitive amygdala, that their smoke detector is set at a very sensitive level. Some have it set at a very low level. And then if you add the biological, genetic, and then if you add to that the influence of the environment, of the early relationships. So if someone is born into a family where nobody knows how to relate well, they don't receive much love, they're just given food but no attention and eye contact and affection from very early on, that also will contribute to their level of anxiety because they've never been made to feel safe and secure.
A panic attack is an intense fear that grows until it feels overwhelming. Then it peaks and...
I think you're having a little panic attack too. Try to just breathe. Deep breath. Deep breath.
You got it.
Deep breath. Try to breathe. Deep. Go like this. Go.
I can't relax.
It's okay. Deep, deep, deep. Deep. There you go. Good, good. Nice and deep. Like this. Go. You want to hold my hand?
Yes.
Do you want the light out? Let me feel your heart. Let me feel your heart. Yeah, it's beating fast.
Going to the grocery store. It's absolutely a nemesis of mine.
The deeper you get into the store, the worse it gets.
While checking the price on a can of goods, she notices something strange. Her heart has suddenly begun to beat hard, so hard in fact that it is pulsating in her throat. This startles her, and then she notices how her arm begins to shake with the pins and needles. This is the first time anything like this has ever happened to her. She is confused and starting to get really scared. Something must be wrong, she thinks, and begins to mentally list all the possible things it could be. Is it the start of a heart attack? Is it an allergic reaction to something she ate? Her stomach and chest muscles feel really tense and her breathing becomes faster and more shallow. She glances around at the people near her, and as she does so, she feels lightheaded and dizzy.
At this point, you're looking for the nearest exit so you can leave the store. Call 911. Call 911. You feel like you're about to faint.
And those hormones start to make his heart pound, his breathing rate increase. And that makes his body feel physically very bad. That, in turn, increases the level of panic, and so Zahn gets into a vicious cycle that he is unable to control.
I'm tired of anxiety attacks. I hate on my head, on my head.
No. Ball count to 10? I can't breathe. Alright,
Thinking about my heart attack.
Well, it makes you feel like you're dying, and then he suffers. Please.
And breathe. No, I can't breathe. Okay, what now?
Hyperventilation can also give you chest pains because it causes blood vessels in your body to constrict. Add to this the fact that the release of adrenaline has made your heart pump out blood faster, and you've got sharp stabbing pains that feel like a heart attack.
This is because your brain is on high alert, and it's trying to warn you of danger, even if you're actually safe.
Where's the exit?
Just stay calm. Okay, breathe. 4. Come on, I can fight. Come on.
I'm gonna die.
3.
I'm gonna die. Oh my god. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
I was feeling like I was dying from a heart attack, and they did one of those, what do you call them, an EKG, and it was normal, but I was sweating, and I was having trouble like catching my own breath, and my heart was pounding really, really hard, and I just felt like my heart was just gonna explode out of my chest. It almost felt like when you're, I don't know, like when you're in the woods alone and you feel like someone is following or chasing you or something like that.
Nope.
My heart felt like it was about to leap out of my chest.
Have you ever felt this before? Going into a store and having an overwhelming sense of symptoms such that you had to turn around and leave?
I walk into a store.
No, she would not.
But you're having anxiety and you have to go up to the till or the assistant and interact with that person, when all you really want to do is just run out the store, but you really want to buy the thing that you're trying to purchase. It's like really awkward because all I want to do is quickly pay and get out of there. And sometimes the person who's working on the till is like really chatty and you're just replying with one-word answers because you're trying to get out there in a hurry and as quick as possible, and your anxiety is already through the roof. It's just, that's the thing that I hate the most, is having to pay and interact with other human beings.
We don't do gift wrapping here.
No, that's okay.
Sir, are you sure you don't want this? Calm down. Sir?
That's always the best feeling when you leave the public or social situation. You finally feel safe. And you just feel like this sensation of the anxiety and the panic leaving your body. It feels really good because obviously you're not having anxiety or panicking anymore. You feel finally for the first time in a while safe. And you just...
Driving panic attacks.
I think I'm having a panic attack. Oh my god. I'm literally getting lightheaded. Oh my god.
Just breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. Oh my god.
Okay, breathe in. You're a
Oh my god.
like we're doing now.
It feels good to talk to the camera, like, cause like I always want to talk when I'm having panic attacks, because I feel like you're just like, it's so weird. It's 100% of your mind. Like literally, I know that's not possible, but like 100% of your brain can only focus on that. So like you'll talk about something, but you're only thinking about panic. You know, like I could talk about what's my favorite holiday. I'm not hearing that. I'm like fucking completely right here, you know? But hopefully that pill will kick in and I'll be able to chill.
When you suffer from panic attacks or hypochondria, you keep checking your blood pressure constantly.
Individuals who struggle with anxiety, specifically those that struggle with panic attacks, because panic attacks are very physical, they have these sensations that come in that are so scary they literally feel like they're going to die. And the feeling is real. It feels like they are going to. And these symptoms are really, really, really strong. Every heart palpitation is going to feel like a heart attack. Every breathlessness makes you think that you have some breathing issue. Every scary, irrational thought that's really strong will make you think that you're maybe going crazy. Or any feelings of unreality, what we call derealization, depersonalization, makes it feel like you're in some sort of alternate dimension.
It starts small, like a dripping tap or a pencil drumming on a desk. It's there in the back of my mind. I can hear it and feel it. It's constant and irritating. I can't turn it off, and then it grows, becomes more prominent, and suddenly it's all around me. Panic leaves your heart pounding in your chest, your lungs gasping for air, your hands shaking, your skin tingling. You feel nauseous, your chest aches, your temperature goes up.
No, not again. Why does this always have to come out of nowhere? It's really hot in here. I can't catch my breath. Why can't I catch my breath? My hands are shaky. My heart's definitely going too fast. My pulse is too high. My pulse is definitely too high. This is not good. I wish someone was here. No, they'll think I'm crazy. Probably. It's cold. Why do I feel so heavy on the chest? Were the symptoms of a heart attack again? Chest pain? Yeah, that's it. Definitely having a heart attack here. My arm and muscles so tight. Where did my legs go? Oh, feel my legs. This is so weird. It feels like I'm on the other side of the real. Looking at myself, unreal. Completely unreal. I really don't feel well. I think I'm gonna be sick. I wonder if these will help. This will calm me down. This is not a good idea. Be smoking. I'll take some just in case. Did I overdose? Probably overdosed. My head's going to explode. Am I going crazy? Probably going crazy. What if I lose control and do something stupid? I hope no one sees me like that. I really don't feel well. I think I'm dying. Wait.
A million thoughts pass through my mind. No, I've been through this before. I'm alright. Can they see me? Breathe. I'm going to have call an ambulance. I can't breathe. I'm going to pass out. Please, I really don't feel well.
Want to know what happens when you get scared of being scared? Well, if I could, I'd stay in my house all day, because I keep thinking, what happens if I get a panic attack in public? Going to the shop or the pharmacy is torture. So I plan ahead, I think about ways to escape. When I stand in line, I start thinking about how everything can go wrong. Unknown places paralyze me because I don't have an emergency plan for those. I hate crowds, parties, festivals, theatres. I used to love these, but now it's out of the question. I hate buses, planes, the tube, because there's no easy way we can escape. I don't meet a lot of new people, partly because I'm scared, partly because it's hard to meet someone new when you just stay in your bed all day.
Oh, that's not normal. Is there something? I see something. Is it different? It's out of control. watched his owner slip under the water. What's going on? What's going on? Deep breath. Come on. Ben, she's gonna be okay. Oh my god, my hand is trembling so much. Physically healthy. Calm down. Nothing's wrong with you. I can't. Come on. Relax. It's gonna be okay. It's just a panic attack. It's just a panic attack. Breathe. Breathe. That's right.
So students who are very anxious have a hard time taking in new information, processing information, encoding information, and retrieving information. We also know that anxious students have difficulty with organizing, planning, and prioritizing things, so they have what we call an executive functioning deficit, and those deficits can become even greater when a student is really triggered and feeling much more anxious. And for those reasons, those of us that work with kids who are anxious believe that anxiety can be considered a learning disability.
I want everyone on page 15. Paul, start reading, please.
Emotions are feelings we experience. They can be positive, negative, ambiguous, or aesthetic. Okay, get ready.
Thank you, Paul. Now it's your turn.
No! Here we go again. Another random text. What's taking so long?
Come on, keep up. We can't be here all morning.
I always feared lockers.
Okay, let's start.
I hated roll call. Anxiety starts to kick in.
Jonathan? Sarah? Sarah? Sarah not here? Okay, Caroline.
Here.
Adam. Here. He's not here? Here. You're here, okay. Jessica?
One minute remaining.
So today I want to talk about panic attacks while driving, all right? One of the worst things about having panic disorder, in my opinion, I had my first panic attack, thought I was having a heart attack, and then I had certain triggers, but I wasn't necessarily afraid of driving or anything like that. So kind of my story. Eventually it started happening, mainly when I had to drive probably longer than like 30 or 40 minutes to get anywhere. Just the fact of being in the car, not being able to get out, either having to pull over or asking somebody else to pull over was probably one of the main causes and why it seemed to be a huge trigger for me. I was scared of having a heart attack in the car while I was driving and then losing consciousness and swerving off and killing somebody else, or, you know, just leaving this trail of destruction. I was scared I was always having a stroke while I was driving. If I was driving and I saw these crazy, you know, flashes of light, which was like the sunlight coming through the trees while I was driving, it would make me feel like I was going to have a seizure. Any issue with anxiety or pain or sensations in my body that I was feeling was like maximized tremendously when I got in the car, and it was horrible. It made getting to work miserable. I was late to work many times. I eventually became a GM of a sporting goods store. Actually had to quit that job. I resigned that job because my anxiety level was at an all-time high, and it was a pretty good job. My big manager did not want me to quit. He thought I was doing a great job, and I thought I was, doing a great job, but I was having panic attacks at work. I couldn't do anything. The drive there was a 45-minute drive, and all the way there, I'm clenching my chest. I'm just doing this. I'm rubbing the middle of my chest, feeling weird sharp pains, felt like I was fainting. I would have to pull over, okay? I would pull over. If there was a gas station, I'd go in and grab me water. I would be on the side of the road while people were driving by, and I'm doing push-ups on the side of the road, and I have to just be embarrassed and suck that up, and I had to do what I had to do to get through it.
If I'm at the party and my anxiety is so bad that I just start throwing up in front of everybody, everybody's going to look at me, everybody's going to laugh at me, they're going to be like, why are you throwing up? These are the kind of things that were going round and round in my mind. So in the end, I never attended my own mother's 60th birthday party with all our family and friends there because of my anxiety. Because my anxiety was so high, I physically couldn't go.
Anxiety attacks are often referred to as panic attacks, though other types of attacks do exist. An attack begins when a person suddenly feels afraid or anxious. They may start to feel nausea, dizzy, short of breath, or feel as if they are dying. These can last for 10 minutes or more depending on how stressful the situation is. Anxiety triggers the body's natural stress response. An abundance of anxiety sends the body from high alert to panic mode. The result is an attack. Anxiety attacks are triggered by events, people, objects, and even dreams. Triggers are often related to work, school, relationships, and health. The attacks may occur frequently or occasionally. Those with repeated attacks have an anxiety disorder.
Many people who start getting panic attacks go on to develop agoraphobia. Agoraphobia is an anxiety disorder where you avoid places where you don't feel safe or can't easily escape from.
The 19-year-old trapped in her own home.
My worst fear would be that I'd end up indoors forever.
The crippling fear that's causing the family so much pain.
I'm scared for her because I don't know what she would do if she never leaves the house again.
And stopping her living her life.
She's never worked, she's never been to a pub, a club, anything like that.
What's going on, Georgia?
Just thinking about it. My name's Georgia, I'm 19 and I suffer from agoraphobia.
Georgia hasn't left her home for nearly 4 years after a series of panic attacks made her too scared to go outside.
When it started, I was 16. I was at college at the time and I was studying and everything was fine, and then one day I just decided that that was it. The panic attacks had got too much, the anxiety, and I stopped going out. Being stuck inside all day, it just makes us feel, I suppose, depressed in a way. I feel upset a lot. I get upset easily, I cry a lot, and I talk about going out with my mum and stuff, and that just upsets us even more.
You can't include Georgia in anything where you would want to go out for a family meal or anything like that. It just doesn't happen. It gets to the point where we just don't do it anymore.
I would love to go outside and I'd love to be with my friends and stuff, and it's just too hard. I do look out the window sometimes and it's just difficult knowing that I'm scared of being out in the world. I don't feel comfortable.
But why?
Just too scared.
Scared of what though?
Being outside, being too far away from home. But when I have the panic attacks, I really do feel awful. I mean, sometimes I've even thought myself that I was going to die or have a heart attack. I mean, I can't go out with them, so they won't go out. It's difficult, it really is.
She doesn't have a quality of life. It's not there.
I've got nothing to do when I get up, so I'll sit downstairs and I'll watch TV. I mean, I'll have a shower, I'll paint my nails. I do get ready sometimes, but it's pointless. I don't go anywhere. So I just spend a lot of time inside, or I've got Facebook and things like that, and I'll go on that, and that's how I keep in contact with people. But even then, I don't really speak to anybody. So
Georgia has come to rely on her younger brother Robbie for company.
Me and Georgia were dead close, and we always
talk to each other about everything. I would love Georgia to get better so we could go to football, so you can watch me play, so we can go for meals, go to my grandma's on Christmas Day. It would just be a huge difference.
The Diagnostic Manual for Mental Disorders lists 5 kinds of places that you fear going to because of this issue of not being able to escape. Using public transportation like trains, planes, and buses. Being in open spaces like parking lots, shopping malls, bridges. Being in an enclosed space like a shop or a theater. Standing in line or being in a crowd. And the last one would be being outside of your home alone. With agoraphobia, you fear or avoid these situations because you fear that you may not be able to escape in the event that you become panicked, or in the event that you have some other incapacitating or embarrassing symptom. An example of this could be a person who manifests anxiety with nausea. So let's look at Tom. Every time he gets an attack of anxiety, he feels dizzy and thinks he's going to faint. He also starts to feel very nauseous and thinks that he's going to throw up. So Tom does not like to attend office meetings because he fears he'll get in the meeting and throw up in front of people. And usually anything visual can be quite frightening and not something you associate with anxiety, but it can be anxiety. So think of these physical symptoms as similar to what you would feel if a bear broke into your house and growled at you and stood on its hind legs. You'd probably feel your heart pounding, and you may even feel like you're just gonna collapse and all kind of other things. Well, think about it. People with anxiety can feel this way all the time, even when they're sitting on a beach on vacation. With these symptoms, you don't have to have a trigger or reason to feel anxious. It can just come upon you. Another aspect of this is that you actively avoid the situation or require someone to accompany you in a situation. Unfortunately, agoraphobia tends to be pretty chronic, and more than 1/3 of the people who get agoraphobia become completely homebound and unable to work. It's often associated with panic disorder, where people have attacks of anxiety, and because of the anxiety, the person fears being out in these situations, having an anxiety attack, and they can't escape or they can't get help for it. If this is the case, you would be considered to have panic disorder with agoraphobia.
Struggling with depression and anxiety is like having 2 contradicting voices inside your head. You care too much and don't care at all. You're lonely and isolated, but too overwhelmed to socialize. During the day, you're completely worn out and can't get anything done, but later that night, you'll lie awake in bed worrying about all the things you didn't do. Anxiety tells you to get up and fight your battles, but depression tells you you've already lost. You overanalyze the future while feeling hopeless at the same time. You wake up caring about everything just to realize that nothing really matters anymore. You worry about your appearance, but you're too tired to even brush your teeth. Anxiety tells you to get up and achieve, or otherwise you'll fall behind in life, while depression convinces you you're worthless, so there's no point in trying. You overthink while feeling completely numb. You're lonely, but you want to be left alone. Depression makes you exhausted, but your racing thoughts won't let you sleep. You worry that people will abandon you if you don't speak to them, but depression won't even let you text them back. Anxiety makes you overeat. Depression takes your appetite away. You're drained, but restless.
Depression makes it hard to see a bright future. Anxiety makes you think your future is filled with nothing but dread. You fear death, but you want the pain to end. It's like you're constantly being dragged out of a pitch-black room into burning sunlight and then thrown back into the darkness again, having to endlessly adapt to the changing landscape every single day of your life.
It's looking okay, but crumbling on the inside. It's isolating, lonely, quiet. It's crowded, claustrophobic, loud. Anxiety feels like being lost, but you keep putting one foot in front of the other anyway.
What's your poem, bro?
Well, my poem is about how...
Alright, no, okay. My poem is about the beach, okay? The beach? Did you go to the beach?
I feel like if I'm in a scary cloud. And they look so normal. Why can't I be like them? Oh God, help me, please. I'm gonna die. I'm about to pass out. I really have to get out of here. But how do I do it? They're gonna look at me.
Guys,
Oh my God. Oh God, help me, please. Help me, please. I don't feel good. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
Hey, are you okay?
You want to start us off?
The school board assumed that students were not receptive to... Sorry. Principal was informed of the situation and...
Step 1. Know what a hypochondriac is. Someone who is constantly convinced they have some kind of physical ailment, even though doctors can find nothing wrong. Hypochondriacs tend to misinterpret minor health issues as symptoms of something more serious. Hypochondria usually begins in early adulthood and affects men and women equally. Step 2. Recognize the symptoms. Hypochondriacs have a history of seeing many doctors, are not reassured by negative test results, and spend a lot of time checking their body for symptoms and then investigating them. They're often overly concerned with a specific body part or function, and this preoccupation interferes with their work and relationships.
2 weeks ago, just like this one, we'll be fine. Hurry, hurry, hurry. This one's for real. I feel it. I can just tell everything is happening for real this time. This is not a drill. Okay, finally. All right, Dr. Google, here I come. WebMD, my worst friend. Okay, symptoms, let's see here. Okay, showtime. All right, yep, definitely there in my chest area. And totally my heart. Is my heart on my right side or my left side? Oh well, both sides hurt. Definitely racing heart. Deep, heavy breathing. Okay, let's see here. What else? Do I have it? I'm definitely have a fever. Definitely sweating a little bit. Oh, I just know it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good. How many weeks do I have left to live? Oh my god. I knew it. Oh my god. Rapid heart rate, lightheadedness, chest discomfort. Oh no. Okay, this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like right before I die. Do I call an ambulance? Do I call my mom? My mom. Okay, I might as well just tell her. Can't beat around the bush. Mom, I think I'm having a heart attack. Oh, she's gonna be really upset. What? Being a hypochondriac? Maybe I'm okay.
Fatigue, and as sleepless nights pile up, the bedroom can start to carry associations of restless nights, racked with anxiety. Come bedtime, insomniacs are stressed. So stressed, their brains hijack the stress response system, flooding the body with fight, flight, or freeze chemicals. Cortisol and adrenocorticotropic hormones course through the bloodstream, increasing heart rate and blood pressure, and jolting the body into hyperarousal. In this condition, the brain is hunting for potential threats, making it impossible to ignore any slight discomfort or nighttime noise. And when insomniacs finally do fall asleep, the quality of their rest is compromised. This symptom of poor sleep leaves insomniacs waking in a state of exhaustion, confusion, and stress, which starts the process all over again. When these cycles of stress and restlessness last several months, they're diagnosed as chronic insomnia. And while insomnia rarely leads to death, its chemical mechanisms are similar to anxiety attacks found in those experiencing depression and anxiety. So suffering from any one of these conditions increases your risk of experiencing the other two.
I've had a long day and I don't need this.
No, not while you're
Answer
yelling.
the phone.
Not while
Answer
you're
the
yelling.
phone.
Answer it with
Answer the
yelling
phone.
like this.
Answer it.
No, stop yelling. Calm down. Stop.
All our brains have what we call alarm systems. Because the brain now has been wired for danger and it's triggered into this fight-flight, we don't just get over a traumatic event. It continues to impact us.
I started hearing my mom scream in the middle of the night.
Most kids who've experienced violence oftentimes have experienced multiple types of violence. In the kids we see, the average number of different types of violent trauma is 4. And so complex trauma then affects multiple areas of the brain.
When you have a child that doesn't get to work through that abuse in an appropriate manner, that abuse doesn't go away. It lives in that child. Exposure to violence in childhood has been found to be associated with a really unbelievable range of long-term impacts.
Very young children who are exposed to violence many times have difficulty in establishing a trusting relationship. These children have fears.
You're twice as likely to develop depression. You're probably 3 times as likely to develop some type of anxiety disorder.
And so the cost of violence is staggering.
I felt isolated. Nobody knew what I was going through.
Finally, after stressing and keeping everything bottled up and everything building up, I just finally broke down one day and attempted suicide.
Suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death of children and adolescents in this country.
It gets louder and louder. They don't think we can hear, but we can, even if we're in the last corner of the house.
We're worried that Mom might get killed.
We hope it will pass and things will be back to normal, but we are still scared thinking about when it will happen again.
It's a really bad feeling in our heart. It feels like it's broken. Sometimes we feel it in our bodies too, and our bones start to hurt.
We find it really hard to stay out of it. We try to stop it, but it doesn't work.
It's our job to protect our little brothers and sisters.
Sometimes we are told whose side we're on. We don't like it.
So the question is, when somebody taps you on the shoulder, do you jump out of your skin? Or when the doorbell rings, is it like the fire alarm has gone off? Or if someone knocks on the door, is it like the smoke alarm has gone off and it keeps on going off? So if that happens for you, just a couple of things. First of all, we need our startle response. It's part of what alerts us to potential danger or threat. And our startle response has basically kept us alive because we're just so overly aware and hypervigilant to our surroundings. As a part of trauma, as a part of PTSD, and I see it all the time. Perhaps there's been a large-scale trauma, such as a car accident or an assault, and then the nervous system learns very well how to be heightened to any potential danger or threat. So there's nothing wrong with you if this is happening for you. Your nervous system is working really well, but it's working over time.
Oh my god, did I just do that? I think it's actually 7. Okay.
How many times do you think the videos have been downloaded? How many times do you think they've been viewed? You need to email the lawyers. I need to email the lawyers the latest places where we found the videos.
Chrissy.
You need to take the screenshots so you can send that to the lawyers. The latest things that have been downloaded, at least.
Oh, sorry.
Do you want to go?
Go to what?
The festival.
Oh, yeah, sure, that sounds good.
Cool. What is he doing? Protect yourself if you need to. You can run. Fuck. You whores are pathetic. Laugh my ass off. You whores are pathetic. She's alive. Anyone has anyone. She's arrested.
Number 7. Nomophobia.
Nomophobia is weird, but according to reports, it's becoming very common among the younger generation. It means the fear of being without your cell phone, or fear of being without a charge, or even without connection to the internet. Psychology Today says some people are so scared to be without this thing, they shower with it, sleep with it, take it literally everywhere. In fact, cell phone addiction has become a big topic in the media, but some might be surprised that people are petrified of being without their device.
When it comes to your smartphone, do you relate to any of this? Do you avoid answering calls? When your phone rings, do you feel any anxiety or stress? Do you worry about who is calling or what you are going to talk about? Do you feel uneasiness before, during, or after the call? Do you prefer texting over phone calls? If you experience most of these symptoms, chances are you could be suffering from phone anxiety. Some of you may be hearing this term for the first time, but it's as real as any other phobia. It is said to be common among those who have a social anxiety disorder. Do understand that you may dislike making or receiving phone calls, but that does not mean you have phone anxiety. It's telephobia when talking to someone on phone causes you to experience certain extreme symptoms. They could be emotional, like heightened anxiety, or physical, like nausea or dizziness.
Phone anxiety.
Oh God. I don't even know if I can do it. My heart is beating so fast. I just gotta do it. I can't bring myself to do it. I don't want to have a panic attack, but I just need to do it. I'm fucking scared. Oh, I can't. I feel like I'm gonna be sick. I'm just worried like they're gonna ask me something that I'm not gonna know how to answer, and I'm just gonna like come across as being stupid, and I don't even know if I can do it. I really want to do it and I just can't.
Hello, this is Marketing Assistant Rachel here with your Fun Fact Friday. Did you know that technophobia is the fear of technology and cyberphobia is the fear of computers? In a study with 1,500 adults, it found that the fear of technology was actually ranked second as their biggest fear, with natural disasters coming in first.
Are you afraid of computers?
OCD affects about 1% of the US population, 2.2 million adults, yet everyone still assumes OCD means OCD for me is like being held hostage by my own brain. My first signs started as a child with having to count every step on every staircase I came across, which then led to counting words and sentences. I was able to do it in seconds, which is quite impressive if you asked me. And the older I got, the more obsessions were added. I was collecting them, like other people collect stamps or stickers. Everything has to line up or be symmetrical, otherwise something bad might happen or my brain just goes into a meltdown. Scratch one arm means also scratching the other. Making a drink for 2 people means only the same amount of water in both glasses. And then it's time to leave the house. Have I closed the door properly? Better to check. And check again. And then there's the intrusive thoughts that just come over me out of nowhere. Like, what would happen if I were to steer the car off the road right into this sign? Jump off the balcony. I don't say these thoughts out loud though. And then sometimes everything just gets a little too much. Turn the volume up by 2, down by 1. Close the door properly. All the picture frames straight. I didn't throw out my makeup coming out. I just 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hold the pen volume up by 2, down by 1. Hold the pen volume up by 2, down by 1. Hold the pen volume up by 2, down by 1. Pen volume up by 2, hold the picture volume up by 2.
And then the day continues, slowly, yet still with more rituals, like touching certain objects a couple of times until it feels right, and brushing my teeth, but only if I spit out the toothpaste exactly 4 times, otherwise I'll have to do it all over again. And not to forget tightening the tabs, once, twice, and finally the time I've been waiting for the entire day, bedtime. Did I turn off the water?
My obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, started when I was in junior high. I started to get totally stressed out by the order of things. I was fixated on making sure everything was put in the perfectly right place all the time. I felt that I had to do it, like I had no choice. I knew that what I was doing didn't make any sense and that I should just stop doing it, but whenever I tried to stop, something took over in my brain and I just had to keep going. These thoughts and images were obsessions. People with OCD have all different types of obsessions. The important thing to know is that the obsessions are unwanted, intrusive, and repetitive thoughts or images, and that the person experiencing them knows they are unreasonable and excessive. Leaving my apartment for school in the morning was a nightmare. As soon as I closed the door, the images and thoughts started. What if I left my curling iron on? What if I didn't lock the door? Something terrible will happen. My family will be hurt. It will be my fault. I have to go back and check. The obsessions created so much fear and anxiety for me that I had to do something to make myself feel better. I was afraid to tell my friend what was happening in my head. I didn't want her to think I was losing my mind. The obsessions kept building and building until I couldn't stand it anymore. I didn't know what to do, and to make it worse, compulsions began. A compulsion is something you do to reduce the stress caused by a feeling that things just aren't right. To get rid of that feeling, you need to do something, like touching, counting, or chanting. A compulsion makes you feel relief for a short time, but before you know it, the obsessions are creating anxiety again. That brings back the compulsions. It feels like it's never going to end.
Naomi, I know you are scared. It must be very hard to have so many obsessions and compulsions, and I want you to know that you are not losing your mind. You have obsessive compulsive disorder, and it's causing a lot of problems in your life, but I can help you with that. Now, I want you to take the medicine I prescribe and also see a therapist. The combination of the medicine and the therapy will help you manage the intrusive obsessions and the overwhelming desire to engage in your compulsions. Now imagine that each part of the brain is like a different building. The buildings are connected by pathways. On these pathways are messengers that carry information between buildings. There is some evidence that people with OCD have a lot of activity in certain parts of the brain. The chemical messengers in your brain are too excited. They are running around like chickens with their heads cut off and causing you to feel you are constantly in danger or that something bad is about to happen. By taking medication and working on changing your thoughts in therapy, you will slow these messengers down. Once they stop flooding your system with anxious messages, you will have more control over the thoughts and images in your mind and how you choose to deal with them. This will help you control both your obsessions and your compulsions.
Someone with anxiety can seem calm and rested, when in reality they might be tossing and turning at night, unable to fall asleep because of their anxious thoughts. If they do manage to get some sleep, they might be restless or riddled with nightmares about their anxieties. For example, those with separation anxiety disorder may have nightmares about being separated from their loved ones.
Body dysmorphic disorder is a psychiatric or psychological disorder that is marked by a person's focus on some aspect of their appearance that they find to be disgusting or unpleasant. And it's diagnosed when it's usually unusual, like nobody else would look at that aspect of their body and think anything of it. Maybe it's a mole on their face or their nose, or sometimes it has to do with weight or musculature. But the person becomes very focused on this aspect of their appearance and then engages in behaviors, sometimes checking behaviors, repeated checking during the day, to see if the behavior has, if the part of the body has changed or what it looks like. And sometimes people will get involved with camouflaging their body part that they have become sort of fixated upon. It can be extremely debilitating to a family and quite dangerous. Because a person can become so fixated on it that they can develop feelings of hopelessness and worthlessness and terribly negative beliefs about themselves because of this very small aspect of their appearance.
But as soon as I turned 14, my whole life started to change. I was spending hours in the mirror, and unfortunately I became so unwell that I had to drop out of school, and I became housebound.
Body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD, is a condition where those affected have skewed perceptions about one or more aspects of their appearance, to the point that their perceived imperfections can cause them severe emotional distress. BDD affects men nearly as much as women. The main difference is the area of concern. Among other things, women with BDD are more likely to worry about their weight, skin, nose, breasts, legs, hips, and stomach, while men tend to be most concerned with their genitals, body type, and hair loss.
This is exactly how body dysmorphia works when you're lifting. So when you're bulking, you feel absolutely ginormous during your workouts. But then when you get home and the rest of the day, you feel fat as hell. But then when you're cutting, you feel absolutely shredded, you feel diced, you feel amazing. But then the rest of the day you feel skinny. Like, I swear, we can't win. It's one or the other. And then you have the little in-between area when you're getting off your cut, but you're not bulked up yet, where you just feel like crap the entire day.
In 2006, I thought I was fat, but I was only 127 pounds. So I became bulimic, unfortunately. So my immune system became super low. And because of that, a deadly bacteria nearly killed me.
With certain parts of your body, so it's similar to what you're saying. It's an obsession, and it's an obsession to change yourself as well.
So I didn't think I was muscular enough. I didn't feel like I looked the way I was supposed to look.
Just live. It just took every moment up.
Never feeling like you are enough, feeling like you've got a heavy weight.
It was something that, made me feel shameful, embarrassed, stopped me from living my teenage years to the fullest.
When I got into high school, that's when the signs and symptoms really came to the full level. Not only was I having the preoccupation with my thoughts, constantly thinking about my appearance, but it also became where my behaviors were completely taken over by body dysmorphic disorder. So I'd wear these hooded sweaters to school, and I would constantly kind of shift it to sort of block out the light, and made me feel like there was a shadow on my face, which would camouflage the acne.
I really started thinking about my appearance when I started low sixth because I thought I'll make new friends. But that didn't really happen. Do I look good? Maybe I don't look good. Maybe that's why they didn't talk to me yesterday. Maybe they're not going to talk to me today because I have an infection. The more I saw that I wasn't really making friends in the months that went by, the more the thoughts intensified. My hair is not. And the more I thought, well, they definitely must not like me because I'm ugly. I would just look down and not look at anyone because I felt like if I just kept a low profile, they wouldn't acknowledge me and they wouldn't acknowledge my face and my imperfections. Eventually, I had to stop going to school. It was too many interactions, too many people. On the journey there, on the journey back, it was just too much for me.
Let's say you fail a test. Are you going to get an F in the whole class? Or how will you pay your bills if you don't have a job? Things like that. But the worry that could be considered a disorder would be worrying about anything and everything, even if it's not a direct threat to you. And I always use the example of worrying about world peace. You can also over-worry about things that are a threat to you, such as a home invasion. This can happen to anyone, but if it's always on your mind and you can't stop thinking about it, and other more pleasant thoughts get blocked out because you're thinking about it, then it's over and above what would be expected, or what would be an expected response from someone without an anxiety disorder. A person can have anxiety without much going on in their heads in terms of distressing thoughts, and still have pretty severe anxiety. Here are some of the physical symptoms that they can experience, and they're not necessarily in order of severity. So you have heart palpitations. This is where you can feel your heart beating in your chest. And at rest, you should not feel your heart muscle contracting. If you do, it's palpitations. Shortness of breath, or feeling like you can't breathe. Lightheadedness or dizziness, and this is different from vertigo or spinning. This sensation, you may feel that the room is getting dark or you're going to lose consciousness at any moment. Then there's weak legs. Some people will say that they feel like their legs are just going to give way. Then there's headaches and heat coming from the top of your head and your ears. I include this one as a scary one because often people will think something is seriously wrong with me, because that's not something people commonly say that they have. There's trouble swallowing, and this can be really scary.
People with anxiety, no matter where they are always looking for an exit or an escape. Because people with anxiety always think the worst is going to happen. When someone with anxiety enters a room, the very first thing they are doing and looking for is the nearest escape or exit. People with anxiety will jump out of the bathroom window. Believe me, I've done it before. Can you relate?